I never meant for it to go this far. It started with a thought I promised myself I would never act on, a test, a foolish, reckless idea that I told myself was harmless. I wanted to know if my wife still loved me, or if the cracks I'd been ignoring for months were bigger than I want to see. It began with a text I sent late one night, fingers trembling over the screen. "I can't stop thinking about you. Meet me?" I pressed send, heart hammering, already knowing I'd crossed a line. My stomach twisted as the message left my phone. I didn't want to respond, but a part of me was desperate for proof. Hours passed. I stared at my phone, convincing myself it was ridiculous, that this was just a moment of weakness, that maybe, just maybe, she'd ignore it. But then my mind started replaying every little detail. The missed calls last week, the strange laugh she let slip when texting, the way she sometimes drifted across the room as if I wasn't there. Small things I had written off, now swelling into suspicion. When her reply finally came, it was calm, unnervingly calm. "We need to talk. Come home." My chest sank. I wanted to read it over, to convince myself I was imagining things. But I couldn't stop. I walked through the apartment, every creak of the floorboard echoing like a judgment. I wanted to confront her immediately, but my mind was a storm, confusion, dread, and a strange guilt I couldn't shake. At home, she was waiting, sitting on the edge of the couch, phone in hand, her eyes tired but sharp. I forced a casual tone, trying to mask the panic, asking, "What's going on?" She didn't answer right away, just gestured toward the screen. I followed her gaze and froze. There was messages I hadn't expected to see. Not from me. Not for me. Words I never wanted to read. Laughter, flirtation, secrecy. My chest tightened, and I felt the room tilt. I wanted to turn away, to deny it, to convince myself it wasn't real. But the evidence was undeniable. Every smile, every touch I thought was ours, every "I love you" whispered in the dark now felt like a lie I had been living. I confronted her quietly at first, my voice a mix of hurt and disbelief. "Why, how long?" Her face crumpled, not defensive, not angry, just heavy with a remorse that felt both sincere and too late. She didn't make excuses. She just spoke in fragments, explanations laced with regret. She said she hadn't planned for it to happen, that it started with loneliness, with feeling unseen, and that she never wanted to hurt me. But the words barely reached me. They were just words. The truth was already burned into me. I remember sitting there after the silence thick between us. Every memory of our marriage was tainted. The dinners, the laughter, the lazy Sunday mornings now haunted by what had been hidden. My mind kept returning to the test I had set. And suddenly, the blame was not entirely hers. I had crossed a line, but what I had uncovered went beyond my recklessness. It exposed something neither of us could ignore. The confrontation became a turning point, not just for us, but for me. I realized the person I needed to protect most was myself. I couldn't unfeel the betrayal, couldn't rewrite the moments that now stung with truth. I left that night, carrying nothing but the weight of realization and the clarity of self-respect. I've replayed it all 1,000 times since. How love can blind, how small doubts can fester, how crossing a line can expose a fracture you never knew existed. I don't hate her, and I don't blame her entirely. But I've learned that some tests are never worth taking, and some truths, once seen, change you forever. The apartment is empty now, but in the quiet, I feel a strange strength. I survived betrayal, confusion, and heartbreak. I survived myself. And for the first time in a long while, I know what it means to truly start over.